that, and two, your views are similar to that of Palestine Action, therefore you can't express these views publicly. I mean, it's just pretty incredible. And so many cases like this, we could do 2-hour special just going case by case, the amount of arrests and things like that. So let's just take a look at the legislation here. This is Terrorism Act 2000, and the key sections here are Section 13. This is brandishing the logo, you could say showing visual support for the organization, the proscribed terrorist organization in this case. And then Section 12, slightly different here, Mike. This is providing what is deemed to be material support for a proscribed organization. So you know, Palestine Action as an example here, saying you endorse them, praising them publicly, that's deemed to be you know, a level of support that's prohibited under the Terrorism Act UK. So as you can imagine, this is a total nightmare. It's completely arbitrarily applied. Nobody really knows. The police, some people have accused the police of just kind of interpreting it as they go. So it's created a whole mess, basically. Now, there's one video which appeared on social media that's absolutely incredible. This gentleman went into the police station to surrender himself. He was injured as well, nursing a bad back, getting ready for, you know, surgery or something like that. So totally incapacitated. And this is a classic video that's kind of gone viral. Watch this scene.
Yeah. Supporting a prescribed terrorist organisation. I want to go through the course, and that's it, nothing else. So I put it in writing, and I put it on my social media that I support Palestine Action. And I don't think Palestine Action is a terrorist organisation. Unfortunately, the law has said that they are, and I don't agree with that. And I'm quite happy to basically be taken to court and see what happens. That's it. I don't have anything against the police, and you know, I love you guys, but I've got to do this, because if we don't do this, then as far as I'm concerned, this law may come into effect, and no one's going to do anything about it. That's it. Nothing else. We spent hours and hours together.
Yeah, this. So as it's going, we've got a prior report one.
You know what?
Got a prior report one.
Okay.
With you as a suspect, or that offence that you voted, as well as for the terrorism act. We know who you are, and there's certainly no code you to arrest. We're not going to be arresting you. If the reason is, I don't think you understand what code is, your solicitor might. We arrest anyone for offence, there has to be certain conditions. One of those conditions is, if you don't have manual address, we can arrest, but obviously have to deal with you another time if you don't know who you are. Other conditions, there's quite a few conditions, but you don't meet all those conditions at the moment. So there will be a prior report raised, and you as a suspect on the system, and you'll be invited in a stage later, probably I'll try to destroy your head. Do you understand?
Okay.
That would be for section 13, not section 12.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you can see, they're arresting him, or they said it would be under Section 13.
Right.
Although he's not really in violation of the things that are under Section 13, as we showed just previously, showing the image and so forth. It just so happens, Mike, we have that gentleman on the live link right now. Let's bring him up on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hussein Hawes Shafi'i, and he is based in London. This is the gentleman that we just saw in that video, who voluntarily surrendered himself into the police station. I'm not sure which branch that was, if that was a special branch for that type of, to investigate that type of crime or cover that end of the law. But I'll call, is it okay if I call you Hawes, Hussein?
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Hawes, absolutely incredible. Obviously, you're very public about what you did. You really even gave, advance notice that you were going to do this. And so just explain to us, what happened here. Tell us what happened, how it happened, and why you did what you did.
So the first thing that happened was on 2 minutes past 12 o'clock on the 5th of July, an organization which is a direct intervention sort of group like Palestine Action was prescribed a terrorist organization, putting in the same league as ISIS and Al-Qaeda, which it directly isn't. It's nowhere near the same equivalent. And I felt, as a British citizen, I can't sit by and watch this. So I made a declaration on video that I am a supporter of Palestine Action. But to qualify that, I've never been on an operation. I've never funded them. I've never supported them materially. But I do support their right to directly get involved. And because of that, I felt and I am a British politician as well, I felt it's not right for me to just sit there and watch this group who are effectively trying to shield the children of Gaza from being targeted. And the best way for me to do that is to target the law itself. And the best way you can target this law is to ask for the courts to decide, because we've got a long tradition of civil disobedience in Britain, and that civil disobedience has got a result. The suffragettes, the poll tax, gay rights, basically. A lot of people don't understand that to be gay many years ago had a sentence of death. But laws change, and civil disobedience is the way to do it. So that's what I decided to do. And I thought there's nothing better than walking up to New Scotland Yard, which is where I went to, first of all, to say, I'd like to be arrested because I am a person that supports Palestine, which has been prescribed a terrorist organization. And it was quite funny, really. They looked at me and said, you've come to the wrong place. Go away. Not interested. Can't arrest you. This is an operational headquarters for the police. And so after saying I support Palestine Action, which is a terrorist action, I was told to go away. I've got a fractured back, which means I can't stand up for long. So I ended up sitting outside of Scotland Yard waiting to rest my back up to be able to move to the next place, because they said to me, we can't arrest you here. You've got to go to Charing Cross. That's the nearest police station. And the funny thing is, 2 police officers saw me sitting outside of New Scotland Yard and walked up and said, what's going on here? And my solicitor turns around and goes, can you please arrest this man, my solicitor? Because the police officer just looked at me and went, because I'm in a zero gravity chair lying down, as you can see in that video, because I can't stand up for long. And a police officer just looked at me and said, nah, we're not arresting you, go away. And my solicitor going, you haven't even heard what he's done wrong. Don't you want to hear it? And they would go, nah, not interested, jog on, move along. And I was told to go to Charing Cross, and that incident you've seen was at Charing Cross, where I said what I said, which is I declare myself as a supporter of Palestine Action. And the police turned around and said, well, thank you for coming in. You can leave because we know who you are and someone will be in touch. And someone was in touch in the evening, and it was the anti-terrorism squad from Hammersmith who saw me. We had an interview for about 45 minutes. And I asked them if they're going to arrest me in Charing Cross. They said no. And for the 4th time of the day, I asked them if they're going to arrest me under the anti-terrorism laws at Hammersmith. They also declined and kicked me out of Hammersmith Police Station and said, you're trying too hard to get arrested, Mr. Shafi, go home. So I left. And that was the interactions with the police. And I'm grateful to the police, who were very careful about my well-being. They recognized the fact that I am very unwell, and they treated me with absolute courtesy. There was no levels of aggression, which is sometimes seen by some police officers. But my interactions with the police in Charing Cross Police Station, I forgot to say, the 2 people that were there to arrest me were actually the same 2 people who were looking after me on the 27th of March when I got hit by a car. 33,000 police officers in the whole of the metropolitan area, and I end up with the same 2 police officers who happened to look after me and who were part of my escort for the day, because I nearly died on the 27th of March. And when that happens, the police send two officers to basically document the evidence of you dying or living. These 2 police officers, that's why we were laughing. It's like, yeah, of course I know them, because I fed them. I gave them tea, or I didn't. My family, who were there looking after me, ended up buying sandwiches for them, cakes, teas, coffees, because at the end of the day, they're human, same as us, And anyway, I've spoken too much. Let's talk about other things.
Well, let me just bring on your tweet here. We'll bring this up on screen. A Bastille Day to remember. or how I tried to get arrested and failed spectacularly. And you go through this. And what's also interesting here is the statement, which you posted publicly. This is the statement that you gave to the police, Hawes. We've got that up on screen. People can screenshot if they like. So that's a matter of public record. You've also tweeted this out at the time. And it's quite extraordinary here. And you really lay out your legal challenge in a way, but this is really a civil liberties statement, if anything. And the part of this, Hawes, I want to get your comment on this, that is just extraordinary, is the last paragraph of the first page. It says, in the court case of R versus Jones, 2003, the appeals court examined actions taken by activists at the Fairford Air Base to hinder Britain's involvement in the Iraq War. And none other than Keir Starmer himself defended those actions back in 2003, arguing in court that breaking the law to prevent war crimes is not only lawful, but also morally justified. That is just an extraordinary bit of irony there, Hawes. But to tell us more about, what is the core thing that you're after here? Like what do you want to see happen in the end?
So I've done what I've done out of a sense of what I think is right or wrong, and people need to do things when they believe what they're doing is righteous. And I definitely believe that what I'm doing, which is standing up for the right of people to demonstrate and the right of people to stop murder. And it is absolute murder that's taking place in Gaza. It's not two sides, it's one-sided. And I look upon the actions of Palestine Action as people who are stopping building drones that make the sound of babies to get people to come to a crying baby and then get shot in the head. 2 days ago, a drone that is made by Elbit System put a bullet in the head of a 4-year-old child. So it is absolutely incumbent of every single person with a moral compass and anyone who's quite happy to die on the hill, and this is a hill that I'm willing to die on, go to prison for, to do what they think is right. It is blatantly obvious, as by case law in the past, that to stop war crimes, to stop genocide, you should do it. And I am not a legal expert. I didn't choose this line and thought of going forward, but I am a Brit, and I am a great believer in my country, and I love the rules and regulations and the balance of power that we have in our country, where the laws are there to protect the citizens. And it is our right, enshrined in June 1215, in Magna Carta, that says that we are going to be judged by a jury of our peers, so that no king, no crown, no baron, no one can deny me my rights. And I'm looking at it as a situation where I'm quite happy to say that I am committing the crime. I then want to be judged by a jury of my peers. And a jury of my peers will decide if I'm guilty or not. And I'll leave that judgment to any Brit to decide whether they believe what's happening in Gaza is acceptable or not, and whether they want to see this continuation of arms flowing directly from here to Israel. And more importantly than just the arms, it's the actual political cover that's given to Israel that normalizes genocide. The fact that our prime minister, who believes that it is morally justified and lawful, as he has defended, to stop war crimes, is now the main cheerleader after the American state for the war on the children of Gaza. So that's where I'm at. And as I said, I'm not a legal expert, but I am a passionate human being that does not like what I see happening in my country. We are literally being sleepwalked into tyranny. That's what's happening here, because Palestine Action today, who's going to be next tomorrow? Who's going to be the next person that wants to stand up for something that can get prescribed? And if we make life easy for these people, the government, to do these things, then they will definitely take advantage of this situation to shield whatever interests they want. It just so happens to be the state of Israel and what they're doing to people. And I'm not happy with what my country is doing. I'm not happy with Britain going down this line where we are effectively co-opted and complicit in the death of children in Gaza. what I will say to you is this quite simply. The DNA fingerprint of every kid and woman and elderly person killed in Gaza holds the DNA of Donald Trump, Biden before him, Sunak, Starmer, David Lammy, David Cameron. These are the 6 people who are, and obviously the American versions of Marco Rubio and Antony Blinken. These people are the ones who've normalized this genocide. And if the British public don't stand up now, today, and do the right thing and make sure that this does not quietly go into the night with authoritarian laws brought in to stop people from talking, then it's the end of British society. We just have to accept the norm that they put in front of us. We might as well not bother being Englishmen anymore. We might as well just become slaves to the system.
Hos, we're just about out of time, but I'd just like to get a very quick comment from you on this, because this issue of juries is absolutely vital that people get to grips with. And of course, we've got this program led by Lord Leveson to remove juries from more and more degrees of criminal court case conduct. And, you know, what you're effectively doing here is relying on the power of the jury to annul bad law. And in this case, and this is a core constitutional principle that most people aren't aware of. And I just wanted to get a final thought from you on that, because it is fundamental, as you say, to our liberties.
I mean, to be absolutely clear, the day the juries are no longer required for cases is the day that British law ends up becoming a third world a country. We will become the repressive regime from somewhere else that is not Britain. We are the home of democracy for the majority of the world. If you take into account the United States of America, Canada, India, Australia, New Zealand, almost all the Commonwealth countries, all of these have at the bottom, at the heart of all this, something called the English common law. And part of an English common law, and it's enshrined in law, in a bill in 1689, the Bill of Rights, is the right to a jury. Now, just because they've got a backlog of 67,000 cases for Crown Courts, it doesn't give you the right to go and get rid of juries. What it means is you need to invest in a much larger judiciary. You need to create a lot more courts. You need to have a lot more judges. You need to increase the footprint to deal with the Crown prosecution cases. What you shouldn't be doing is taking a history that we have now spread to the whole world of jury to put it in a bin now because it's inconvenient, because you know as well as I do, Patrick, yeah, that there are laws in place for criminal damage. You don't need to go and create anti-terrorism laws. If you smash up something, there's a law for that already. You don't need to turn it into a terror law. So that's the situation we're in. This is an overreach by the government, and it needs to be put in the bin. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to fight for what I think is right for British people, more than anything else. If it wasn't Palestine Action, it was something else, I'd still be jumping up down the throat of this government, because this is the problem here. They're trying to change the way things are done so they can have an easier life than the one they've got at the moment, where we've got juries to defend and protect us. They cannot and must not be allowed to take out the juries system. It's been here since June 1215. You can't take 800 years and put it in the bin because it now doesn't suit you.
Yeah, and having heard that explanation, Mike, thank you, Hawes. I can see that Hawes's protest is much bigger than any one group that's been proscribed. This is a constitutional protest on principle. Hawes, Hussein Hawes Shafi'i, thank you so much for joining us on the UK column. We'll hopefully follow up and continue this discussion in the future. But thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.